Hey, this is my 1 month update as me working as a manager at Pollo Campero as a Gringo, white person. Don't really speak too much Spanish. How I got the job, how I'm feeling about it so far, what I was thinking while working there, and why I even applied in the first place. Anyways, my name is Roman, aka Young Bizwiz, and today we're gonna be talking about the whole experience for the last month. So, how I got the job, how long the process took to get hired, and everything. Well, I applied because, me and my family actually eat there kind of consistently, probably once to twice every 2 weeks. We'd probably go there to buy food. And because I like the chicken so much and I like eating there, I decided to apply when I saw the opportunity online. I applied online and I saw it on a basically like an Indeed kind of listing, but they don't hire on Indeed. It was a different app. I was using a different recruiting app because I wasn't finding much success on Indeed actually. And so I ended up using ZipRecruiter, and that's how I found out about Pollo Campero. And I saw the listing, I applied for it immediately, and I was probably in my job search, probably like 100 listings, 150 listings deep before I applied to Pollo Campero. And up to that point, I had some luck, but wasn't getting too much closing success. And so when I applied to Pollo Campero, it was just another one of those, the job is closed. I like the chicken, I like the free food, and I like eating the food, so why not try working there? So with all that in mind, I just applied and didn't really think too much of it. Now, one of the big things I think that threw me off during the hiring application was that I had to give my social security number, which, depending on how you guys feel about that, how many scams there are online. I was like, wait a minute, is this a scam? Like, what's going on here? What do you mean you need my social security number before I even apply? And let me know in the comments below if you guys would ever give your social security number for an application, because once again, it sounds crazy to me, but I still did it just because I believed it was like the actual official website, even though it was on ZipRecruiter. And it was like my first week using ZipRecruiter, so it threw me off completely. And yeah, once again, guys, don't actually just give up your social security number, but for me, I felt like it was actually them, so I gave it. And the reason why I think they asked for it more than most other companies would is because at Pollo Campero, which I jokingly call Polo Campero because, hey, I'm a gringo, white guy. That's also half Asian. Chino y gringo. But my thing is that, my neighborhood actually cut the grass for the first time. Or did they? Grass has not been cut, but the bushes are. This looks really nice. Anyways, so let me know if you guys would have actually done it. But the reason why they, once again, have to ask for your social security number is because a lot of people actually apply and don't have papers, basically. There's no nice way of saying it. And they don't hire people without papers anymore, or in general. So, they have to make sure that if they go through the whole screening process and everything is good, that you actually have papers and you actually are able to work there and pay taxes. So that is mainly the main reason. And you might be like, well, isn't that every job? Yeah, well, at a Hispanic chicken restaurant, which, once again, if you don't know what Pollo Campero is or Pollo Campero, it's basically a fast food Hispanic chicken restaurant. I really like the chicken. I think the chicken is really good because it's made there. We'll get to that in a bit because, man, it's hard work in that kitchen. But yeah, I think the chicken's really good. I usually enjoy eating the food there. And I think it really does rival like KFC and Popeyes. Maybe, like, I'm going to be completely honest, I don't think their sandwich is as good as Chick-fil-A's sandwich or Popeye's chicken sandwich, but it's not the worst. You know what I mean? Like, the chicken in general is what you're usually coming for. So, once again, I just think it's really good. And I think it's very underrated and that more people should know about the food in general. Even if I wasn't a manager, I just think the food's just really good. And once again, that's really the main reason I applied and didn't think much of it. So I applied online, and what ended up happening is, gave my social security number. You guys can let me know in the comments below what you guys think about that. But they ended up calling me, I think about 4 days later. I applied on a Thursday and got a call Monday. But what I didn't tell you guys was I actually went to the store in person and asked for the job there too. So I don't know how to explain this properly, but for me, I think it's good to actually visit the store in person, even if you don't have any contact, just so you can have like a first review of the place, you know, get an idea of what it's like. I know I go there to eat and everything, but I think it's also good to just check out the place, talk to management, see how they're feeling, you know, feel them out. Are they actually, you know, are they actually looking for someone? Is there someone that can help speed up the process? You know, for me, when I got my job at Smoothie King to become a store manager, I actually went in person, and that's how I got the contact information to contact a director of operations. So not just the store manager, but someone that's in charge of, you know, a whole area. Oh damn, I'm trying to remember what the name of it. I think it's director of operations. So I got his number, and through him I was able to actually land the job because he gave me the shot. So anyways, other than that, I just think it's very important to shoot your shot, and you never know what happens, guys. Like, a lot of people apply online, but it's all about building that connection in person to be able to be liked. People want to see whether or not they're able to see them working with you, and that's just what I did. And so yeah, made it, went in person, and they were like, oh, we're not hiring any managers. And I was like, oh shit. I applied to a fake listing basically, and you know, everything seemed really bad. You know, maybe the people there weren't in charge of hiring for managers, so that's what I was going with in my head. But with them saying basically no, they're not hiring managers, they're just whatever, I was just like, oh, that's not good. But I got a call 4 days later, and I didn't know it was Pollo Campero, if I'm gonna be honest. They called me, but since it wasn't a number from the area, I thought it was a spam call. And it actually took me about 3 or 4 more calls on a Wednesday later, where I actually ended up talking to someone on the phone, and through that I set up an interview in person. It took about a few days, and then I started working the week within the same week. So the whole process probably took less than 2 weeks to get hired after applying online into working my first day. And on my first day, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I thought I was gonna quit. And you know, as much as I want to talk about the interviewing process and everything, basically from what I understood, it's a Hispanic restaurant. I assumed that there were people that I worked with that were going to speak English. Some of them speak Spanish. Well, all of them are going to speak Spanish too. But in general, it was just going to be people that speak English and Spanish. And I'd be in charge of them as a manager. However, I underestimated how many people would be able to speak English and Spanish working there. And not only that, how many people that order food from there that only speak Spanish. So it was a great estimation. A great underestimation by my part. And if I'm going to be honest right now, it's about like 80% of customers speak Spanish when ordering at the location I work at, because I'm in a heavily Hispanic area. I didn't take that into consideration when I applied, because it never really mattered too much to the jobs that I've been getting so far. I spoke a little bit Spanish when I worked at my general manager job. I'd be like, ¿qué quieres?, which is what do you want? And then, how much it costed in Spanish, because I know just enough Spanish to say the price and whatnot. But man, yeah, basically, if I worked at Pollo Campero, I realized I basically had to be like kind of semi-fluent in Spanish to actually work there. And my first day there, some people just didn't speak English at all. And I was just like, wow, what happens when the person that needs to train me only speaks Spanish and I'm cooked? You know what I mean? Like, I won't be able to understand at all, and obviously I won't have a job anymore. And that wasn't one of the reasons why I thought I was going to get fired. It was also very, very hard to work in the kitchen. Now, people can argue whether or not working in a restaurant is hard, but let me know in the comments, even fast food. But working in the kitchen, I have never worked so hard in a kitchen before. I don't think ever. Even when I was a dishwasher, and I was a dishwasher at a seafood place, but it wasn't really that, how do I say? It wasn't really that bad, because it wasn't there wasn't a lot of customers that came in So I wasn't very busy, and I had help, and I never closed entirely by myself. So working as a dishwasher for a little bit, it really didn't it really wasn't as hard as me working at Pollo Campero in this kitchen. And yeah, working in fast food kitchen is hard, guys. Like, I don't mean to severely like, I don't know how else to explain it to y'all, but yeah, I was not ready for how hard it'd be in the kitchen, especially coming from Smoothie King. So a lot of people at Smoothie King, when I was working as a manager and talking to other managers there, they were talking about how easy it is to work there because you're not dealing with hot foods. You're not dealing with grease. You're not dealing with all these things when you work at Smoothie King. It's fruits, vegetables, and supplements. So I only completely understood what they were saying when I was working at Pollo Campero, which is right now. And it only made that real realization. You know, I was like, yeah, yeah, it is easier to work at Smoothie King. You know, I cooked some food before at some other restaurants, so I didn't have to clean it. You know what I mean? I worked as a waiter and whatnot, but yeah, working in that kitchen, making the chicken on the spot and trying to do it as fast as you can because it's busy, it is not for the light, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I'm probably working at one of the most busiest spots too, so that probably doesn't help with everything else. But I'd easily say top 5 busiest spots in America. At least that's what the numbers say on the screen. And so yeah, I was working in the kitchen. I was really underestimating, or I was really realizing that I'd have to learn a good bit of Spanish to work here. And as a manager, you know, you'd have to be able to run the whole store on your own and be able to do things and fill spots when people weren't there. And I was starting to realize, like, well, wait a minute, I can't really talk well enough in Spanish to understand, like, to speak at a level to take an order. Okay, I'm not at the level to understand a full conversation in Spanish. And yeah, and the work is really hard in the kitchen. So I really thought I was gonna get fired or just quit my first week, but I just stuck in there. And after, I think it was like after the first week, like 3 or 4 days into my first week, I decided, like, hey, I'm just gonna try my best, and I'm not gonna let the whole Spanish thing get to me. Hopefully I'll be able to learn it while I'm working there, and we'll see where it goes from there. And there's not like a timing when this happened, because I was feeling really distraught, because I'm like, why am I going to work busting my ass when I know I'm gonna get fired because I don't speak enough Spanish, basically? And when is it gonna catch up to me where I'm just not gonna have a job anymore and I'll have to go looking for a new one? But I stuck in there. I tried my best, and a week went by, 2 weeks went by, and now it's been a month, right? How would I say about working as a manager now that I've officially became one? Damn, it's interesting. I would say that I'm still learning Spanish, obviously, on a day-to-day basis. Like, I'm trying to basically learn how to say the things correctly in the kitchen, and how to call out what I need and what is necessary to, you know, continue running a shift. Like, yo necesito un bolsa de papas, por favor. Like, I need things to happen at real time. I can't just sit there and just... There is a giant ass ant on my hand. What? Oh my. That scared the fuck out of me. I thought I fell from a tree. But anyways, it's it's a little bit challenging. I still feel like I'm not 100% there yet as a manager, but I'm just trying my best. And while I probably can't have a fluent Spanish conversation with the employees there, I still try my best to talk shit and try to, you know, relieve, have some fun, make jokes and whatnot, try to make the shift as fun as possible, I guess you could say, while still trying to keep that, like, you know, that serious rigidness of, like, trying to run a store. And that's where it's been. I'm kind of able to take customer orders. I ended up cashiering for a little bit, and in general, you're gonna have to cashier as a manager, but I'm pretty confident enough in speaking Spanish and understanding what they want in their order to be able to take an order at the cashier. I guess the one thing I haven't done yet is drive-through. And realistically, I think drive-through is going to be a lot harder than taking an order face-to-face, because in order face-to-face, there's a few things that you have to remember. And on drive-through, you don't get to see the interaction, you just get to hear it. And there's a lot of cues that I don't get to pick up from seeing than just hearing in the headphones. Which also, I don't even hear the headphones too well, so it's a bit of a challenge. So, other than that, I guess that would be my biggest fault right now. But counting the money and everything, you know, I guess it's a lot more demanding at this job than at Smoothie King, because of the amount of people and the amount of customers that actually come in. That's why you have to count more money basically, because 1 week at Smoothie King is basically 1 or 2 days working at Pollo Campero, money wise, if you guys wanted to know that. Fun fact. And yeah, I just try my best. I don't think I'm gonna be the best manager. I'm trying to just be the best to work with, I guess you could say, but because I'm limited in my capabilities and understanding the Spanish that's going on in the area, that's really what's been holding me back from becoming like a decent to like a good to becoming a great manager, I guess. But yeah, sorry about my voice. I am a little sick once again, and there hasn't been really much else to talk about. I probably showed some clips here and there of me working at Pollo Campero, you know, how messy and dirty it gets. You know, it's definitely an interesting spot to work at, and I've made it 1 month here. Don't really have much else to say. I would say that, how do I feel about the job overall? Because I'm a manager that only works closing, my hours are not the best. I work graveyard. And because I do have to close late, I also do have to work weekends, which isn't the best for, I guess, you know, having fun, right? But it's a job, I'm getting paid. Closing isn't the worst thing, I'm gonna be honest, because since basically as a manager, there's other things you have to do to make sure the store is actually good. Closing isn't a problem for me, but the amount of effort and work that people put into closing the store is so, I guess it's it's impressive how much work they put in to closing the store, especially when we're understaffed, and they get it done relatively on time. I know that maybe, how to explain this, it takes an hour and 30 minutes for us to close usually, and even if corporate isn't completely happy with us closing in such a long time, since we're understaffed and they get the job done really well, I'm very grateful, because I know what it's like to try to close. I remember closing with them before doing the management duties, and it is not easy to clean the whole store, clean the back. There's oil everywhere, there's stuff all over the floor that's like constantly getting scrubbed and wiped down. You gotta clean the front, the back, outside in the parking lot every night. I don't think we even did that at Smoothie King. We did it maybe like once a week if I remember correctly, but the trash around the building was never that bad, especially since the store that I worked at was part of multiple stores. Obviously it didn't seem like it would be more like a group effort of other people cleaning the parking lot as well, right? So yeah, other than that, it's my first month working there. I'm still getting paid. There was no training pay as a manager here versus at Smoothie King, so I guess that's also been a positive. But I think I'd rate the job like a 6.5 out of 10. I really do like the people I work with, but hey, I just try my best, right? And yeah, that's my 1 month update at working at Pollo Campero, and hopefully more to come. It's been a journey, honestly. Like I said, I thought I was gonna get fired my first week, but I also was told I might get fired right before I officially became a manager, just because of my Spanish, basically, and the duties I was doing. I wasn't able to perform my duties completely without really understanding the Spanish, so obviously that would affect my performance rating, right? But I'm gonna go to work later today, and we'll see how it goes. My name is Roman, aka Young Bizwiz, and have an awesome day. Take care. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have similar work experiences or situations, and take care. Peace.
Alright, so hey, what's up? My name is Roman. Right now, I'm doing the inventory list right now. I don't really know how much I can show y'all from the list, but that is what I'm doing right now. And I'm doing it by myself for the first time, which is kind of weird because it's already been a month of me working here, and this is my first day of actually doing it myself. But hey, I'm trying. It seems like half this list I never actually use, but whatever. That's how they printed it out for me, so I just gotta do what they told me. And I think I did pretty good. We'll see how it goes.